Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Aether Hub. I'm Simon, bringing you another Magic the Gathering video. Whew! Today we're continuing the official story of Kaldheim as we traverse this strange plane full of gods and mysteries with a hint of Phyrexian mischief thrown in there for good measure. This video is going to be chapter 3 of the Kaldheim Saga, so if you haven't already, go ahead and check out in the description below all the links to the first 2 chapters so you can get caught up. We have followed our hero, the ghost assassin Kaya, to the relatively not undead world of Kaldheim as she was commissioned for a job hunting a monster by an unknown client. That money was really good, but Kaya probably would have declined if she knew how much trouble this mission was gonna be. The monster she was tracking turned out to be none other than a Phyrexian. Worse still, it was a powerful praetor named Vorinclex. His presence means something's definitely at play that could shatter the foundation of Kaldheim itself, and Kaya, being the hero that she knows she is, needs to get to the bottom of it. The gods of Kaldheim too feel this disturbance. A cataclysmic Doomskar comes for their world, but who could be behind it? Kaya discovers that the half-devil Planeswalker Tibalt is in fact the one behind all of this chaos, for chaos itself is its own precious reward in Tibalt's eyes. Carrying with him a weapon that allows him to jump across the 10 various realms of Kaldheim, Kaya finds herself playing catch-up and asking why and how Tibalt is doing all of this. Well, in chapter 3 we get a little more backstory on the Prince of Mischief himself. Tibalt, in his own manifesto, dictates his truth to us, what he believes is his greatest work, a multiversal masterpiece of manipulation. This is the Saga of Tibalt. And remember, Vorthos Army, if you're enjoying our videos, to support our channel and keep us going. By supporting us over on Patreon, you get previews of videos, signed cards, and way more, all while helping us continue to make content. You can find a link down in the description box below, but now, let's get back to the lore. Have you ever wondered what prattles around the mind of a madman? Someone truly lost to insanity? The depraved, delusioned machinations of one who knows no sense of reality. Thus is knowing the mind and motivations of one Tiablt, a planeswalker born of Innistrad that is as devilish as his appearance may suggest. When he first encountered Kaya on Kaldheim, she interrupted but a piece of his grand design to sow chaos on this orderly realm. A world separated by peace, and dislocated realms that keep warring parties away from one another. Tiablt admitted in his first encounter that mayhem was motivation enough, that he enjoys the trouble he stirs. But how did we get here? How has a single planeswalker pushed Kaldheim to the brink of annihilation? How did he get a Phyrexian praetor to this plane? Tiablt himself now takes a look at his own story, what the bards will surely be singing in Kaldheim for generations to come. The Saga of Tibalt, told by Tibalt, imagined by Tibalt, all for the ego of Tibalt. Tibalt's life has never been easy, as he's always been a rather crass person before his spark ignited, and that certainly didn't change after he underwent a ritual involving devils that transformed him both physically and into a planeswalker. He now has the means to cause strife on a much larger scale, witness atrocities and calamities of his own making, not limited to only his home world of Innistrad, but across the multiverse as well. Of course, this gave rise to many enemies, namely a vampire by the name Soren Markov. Tiablt has had many schemes unfold at the disturbance of a would-be hero over the years, but here on Kaldheim, nothing was going to stop him. However, his plans didn't have a great start, as he would run afoul of what Tiablt himself describes as a horrible beast. In his story, he capitalizes horrible beast, so it refers to a name he's given to someone else, and we know that someone to be the Phyrexian Vorinclex. This horrible beast, as Tiablt puts it, needed the planeswalker's help. However, Tiablt was not in the monster-helping mood. Vorinclex forced Tibalt's cooperation by infecting him with what is described as a tricky poison, or as the horrible beast calls it, a seed. Vorinclex tells Tiablt that he would remove this seed only if Tiablt causes a distraction on Kaldheim. For what purpose is never revealed, but Vorinclex needs eyes off of him. Tiablt is amused by the monster's tenacity. While he doesn't like being made a pawn of, bringing chaos to Kaldheim was already on Tibalt's to-do list. He agrees to help this hideous, stupid monster, only because it aligns with his own goals. And totally not because a Phyrexian just put a quote-unquote seed in him, of course. In order to succeed in causing as much mayhem as possible on Kaldheim, Tibalt first needed a disguise. His devilish, almost demonic appearance probably wouldn't fly on a world who has been separated from those particular beings since the beginning of time. Tibalt learns of the Kaldheim gods, and targets the god of lies, Valki, who, as it turns out, is rather gullible himself. Tibalt tricks the god and locks him in magical chains. How this came to be exactly still remains a mystery. Tibalt didn't really disclose much about that, but what we do know is that Tibalt struck a deal with the masters of various realms in order to keep his new prisoner well hidden. He traveled with the chained Valki to Karfell, Kaldheim's land of the dead, and presented the god of lies to King Narfi, the spectral ruler of this realm. In exchange for locking away the god deep beneath the darkest glacier of all the realms, King Narfi was promised the very first picks of the treasures to fall out of the coming Doomskar. The king and his men didn't fear death, as they were already dead and cursed for eternity, but at least the prospects of shiny baubles piqued their interest. King Narfi agreed, locking Valki up, allowing Tibalt to take on the guise of the god of lies without suspicion. It turns out it was a role he excelled at. Next, Tibalt as Valki needed a tool, something that would allow him to jump through the various realms of Kaldheim with ease. For a Doomskar to occur, he would need to break down the defenses of these pocket worlds, so Tibalt visits a legendary dwarf named Kol the Forgemaster, one whose work was fit for a god like Valki. Tibalt has no respect for dwarves. He likens them to clockwork machines who lack cleverness, but even he must admit the marvels that were Kol's masterpieces. He was the only living being who could work and shape Tyrite, a mythical substance born from the World Tree that connected all the realms of Kaldheim. In essence, it was the World Tree's hardened sap. Its use could open portals to any realm one desired. Exactly what Tibalt needed. Kol was busy working on a new project, a giant sword made of Tyrite, a gift for the god of battles Holvar. Tibalt presented as Valki and protested that he should be the one to receive the sword, that he needed it for, let's just say, godly reasons. Kol, however, was not as dim-witted as Tibalt suspected, resisting the lies as the sword was meant for Holvar, who had years ago saved Kol from a giant wolf. Valki was just the god of lies, who deserved no such favor. Tibalt wasn't playing this game. Rather than trick the dwarf, which he could have easily done, he simply stabbed him in the back and threw Kol into his own forge, making off with a new Tyrite blade and the ability to travel easily across the realms. Tibalt then took his act to Skemfar, the realm of elves, where the god of lies petitioned an audience with the king Herald. Herald is the ruler of the elves, a great uniter who settled the scores of the two warring clans of wood and shadow elves to bring together one grand empire. Herald is also the older brother of Tyvar Kell, the planeswalking elf who now is partnered with Kaya. Herald's people may have seen their king as a flawless, brave, wise, and steadfast leader, but Tibalt saw his truth underneath all that bluster, the deep-seated paranoia, the arrogance that his people could rule all of Kaldheim, and the utter disdain he had for the gods above who claimed to be superior. The elves didn't like the Skodi, their term for the gods of Kaldheim, and were immediately suspicious when the god of lies came knocking on their door. However, Tibalt was clever and told the king of the Skodi's schemes and plots and how they planned to attack and maim the elvish people of Kaldheim as punishment for them being better than the gods. The gods were jealous of Herald, and they looked to end his people. This lie was convincing enough to push King Herald off the edge of madness. If the gods wanted war, then the elves would bring them war. Another realm down as Tibalt cackled and vanished. Tibalt played these tricks all across the realms. He went to Surtland, the realm of giants, and warned the frost giants of an incursion of Torga trolls, the largest, nastiest trolls in the multiverse. He went to Bredegard, realm of men, who proved just as easily duped. Tibalt convinced the vicious Skell clan that he could usher the return of their lost demon king, Vargoth, if they helped bring forth the Doomskar. As Bredegard would slam into Immersturm, the realm of demons, that promise from the god of lies was actually true. Tibalt, however, did manage to fail at one of his endeavors. He was unable to dismantle the realm of Starnheim with dishonesty. Starnheim is the realm closest to the gods, a land of angelic Valkyrie, rigid, disciplined, and honor-bound. Tibalt couldn't bend these creatures, but what wouldn't bend would certainly break. Tibalt learned of the Cosmos monsters, beings of immense power created in the birth of Kaldheim and its 10 realms. The Cosmos beasts live outside of these realms, in the great in-between. The Cosmos, appearing on any realm would cause untold destruction. There was one such Cosmos beast who was said to be too powerful to ever let on Kaldheim, the great Cosmos serpent Koma, who was so large that it's said it could devour an entire realm on its own. So, in the ancient past, the gods of Kaldheim decided to lock Koma away forever, sealing it within the cosmos, unable to feed on the realms. That was until Tiablt caught wind of this being. Using his Tyrite blade, Tiablt tore a hole between the cosmos and Starnheim, a portal in which Koma eagerly took. And with that, the Great Serpent began to feed for the first time in centuries. Starnheim and its Valkyries would be a little too preoccupied to deal with the Doomskar. Tibalt's final acts of deception came with aggravating the realm of trolls, not Vold, into a frenzy, fearing a preemptive attack on their lands by humans. It was here that the Planeswalker Kaya uncovers Tibalt's masquerading as Valki, the god of lies, putting all of his hard work into jeopardy. As Tiablt escapes his nimble assailant, this would-be hero, he uses the Sword of the Realms to enter Immersturm, Realm of the Demons. It is here that Tiablt would set the Doomskar loose, dragging his sword across its surface, opening not just a portal, but leaving a gaping wound between Immersturm and the rest of Kaldheim. He's making this as public as he can, causing as much noise as possible. Typically not the MO of Tiablt, but the time for tricks is over. He wants this hero, Kaya, to find him, to come to Immersturm. Tiablt will kill this hero. Okay guys, and that's gonna wrap up chapter 3 of Kaldheim's story, a unique take on the villainous actions of Tiablt told by Tiablt himself. This was a really fun story to read, taking a look at the inner monologue of a character like Tiablt and understanding a bit of his deeper personality in a way we don't really typically get in a lot of MTG writing. Now, I'm not saying it was the best writing ever or that they took a bold stance on character development here. Tiablt still boils down to a weird narcissist who likes causing chaos for no real reason and with no goal, but still, it was a unique take that we don't really see a lot in MTG. I really recommend that you guys give it a read, and a link can be found in the description below. Now, out of this story, we learn a lot, but there's also plenty more questions to go with it. One big question I think that actually was answered was, did Tiablt really bring Vorinclex to Kaldheim? We don't get too much information on how these two actually met, just that Vorinclex manipulated Tiablt into helping him on Kaldheim. So either Tiablt one day went to New Phyrexia and got seated, there on New Phyrexia, or as Tiablt said, he was already on Kaldheim planning some trouble when he ran into Vorinclex. As Tiablt refers to Vorinclex as a horrible beast rather than a Phyrexian, I doubt he ever really spent any time on New Phyrexia. So that means that Tiablt didn't bring Vorinclex to Kaldheim in order to sow chaos. Rather, Vorinclex made it here himself and needs Tiabalt's efforts in order to push his own agenda, which still remains a mystery. This opens up so many possibilities, guys. The take that Tiablt just opened a portal to New Phyrexia was cool, but it didn't really leave much room in terms of imagination on the role that New Phyrexia or even Vorinclex was going to play in the story. Now, it appears Vorinclex and the Phyrexians have found some other way to travel throughout the multiverse, with Vorinclex appearing on Kaldheim himself. And Vorinclex is seeking to do something specific on Kaldheim, while the vast majority of people are distracted with the whole Doomskar thing of Tiablt. It's just a thought, but I believe there's way more going on here with Vorinclex than the original big dumb monster threat that we were given. Anyway guys, that's going to do it for today's video and chapter 3 of Kaldheim's story. Let me know your own thoughts in the comment section below. Did you like this story? If you enjoyed the video, make sure that you support the channel by leaving it a like, subscribing, and ticking that notification bell, and of course by becoming a patron. Patrons get perks like these videos early, signed monthly cards, and more. So if you're looking to support us and also grab some really cool perks, check those links in the description below. And as always guys, thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, see ya!